Welcome to the Bullpen. It's our monthly conversation about the markets featuring Tommy Grisafi from Advanced Trading, of course, based in Mayville, North Dakota. Tommy, as always, we appreciate the chance to connect. Let's kick back and talk about the past month. What happened in the markets over the past month?
Well, we made it through another one. If you're watching this video, you survived August. And August was interesting. It was a little quieter. A lot of people are on vacation, not only in America, but Europe and around the world, Canada, our neighbors up north. But people are back trading. And August ended with a little bit bigger movement than I realized on that corn-bean spread. Corn finished the month about up 60 cents and soybeans down 60, Don. And that'll very much... people are watching that, especially for making planting decisions in the 23. So keep an eye on that DEES 23, NOV 23 corn bean ratio as we finish up the year here. But the markets we had the crop tours, all different crop tours, and some really bearish or bullish numbers came out. And we just didn't have the June, July weather we needed to make a great corn crop. We'll have a good corn crop in the United States at this point, but we won't have a great one. And we have great demand, and energy prices are really starting to move all over the world. So, corn is an energy. We can turn it into ethanol. Soybeans could be energy, as we talk about soybean oil and whatnot. But the whole energy play is really interesting. And we'll talk more on this show just about fertilizer and natural gas and everything else. But the numbers, if they're half correct, these crop tours, corn will continue to have a bullish story. So I'll say on this show, as I've said on a few other shows lately, Don, America didn't produce enough corn. And that's really wild to say that the American farmer couldn't get it done. They didn't produce enough corn. And that's because Mother Nature was large and in charge.
It's certainly interesting when you look at it, because basically the situation with the corn crop's been made. We still have a chance to do some things with the soybeans nationwide.
We do. August weather finished up okay. We're continuing to roll throughout September without a frost. That was a big scare earlier in the year. What would happen if we had an early frost? No sign of that yet. Let's keep that away. And as you and I know, we went on the Red River Farm Network crop tour, and we watched people literally plant crops June 2nd, 5th, 6th. And I've called all those folks. They're pretty happy with their yields. It's amazing when you plant a crop in the moisture and heat, how fast it can get out of ground. And believe it or not, in some ways caught up. So we'll see what final yields are, especially down in that Arthur area where we planted some 80-day corn. I'm very interested to see what that final yield is.
I had a chance to be out over the past couple of weeks as well. And I think everywhere we went, folks were talking about if this crop's going to be able to make it. The corn in many cases is starting to dent already. We're in pretty good shape, but we're going to need all of this month of September and maybe into October just to finish this crop off.
Absolutely. Our friends in the sugar beets could use a rain also. So you have guys who are harvesting wheat and barley, and they don't want the rain because they want to get through it, but yet they want their corn and beans and beets to get one more shot of rain. It's a little bit of a tricky situation there, but I think North Dakota overall could use some more rains. That'd be great. Keep the temperatures high. Compared to where we were a few months ago with a war, high prices, late planted crops, I would say overall, the sentiment across North Dakota is positive. Bushels are showing up. As you know, we're in the bushel business and we need to stay in the bushel business. I can't really help anyone use the futures and option markets as sometimes people have to take PP. And we did have some clients have to PP some acres that they just couldn't get to in the middle or late June.
We still have some geopolitical forces that are at work here. When you look at Russia, just in the news, shutting off that major pipeline into Germany, into Europe for natural gas, that's a huge situation. It obviously has to impact those energy markets, not only in Europe, but worldwide.
It's going to affect things you wouldn't think of. I, like many other people in North Dakota, have a cracked windshield from the beautiful rocks that love to fly off the road. And if the sticker shock from the window wasn't enough, the actual shock that they're out of that particular glass for that unit of vehicles. So things like glass windows, watch out for parts coming out of Europe. We've had supply chain issues for several years now. We've went from COVID supply chain issues to Ukraine war supply chain issues. I can't even say it. It's so intimidating. But what's happening in Europe Europe is going to have to shut down industry to try to conserve natural gas and electric. They switched to the big Green New Deal, yet they had no backup. And the only one providing a lot of this energy was Russia. So the way it looks is Russia's playing chess and the rest of Europe sitting there playing checkers. And it's no secret that energy prices are 3, 4, 5 times more expensive in Europe right now. These aren't rumors, these are facts, and it's detrimental to industry. And as you can see, it's starting to hit the stock market. Not only the American stock market, but stock markets across the world are definitely trading down as we're in a massive inflationary period, of which it looked like it was calming down for a little bit. But when you get those energy prices up there, when the UK government's announcing they may release tens of billions of dollars to help people with energy costs, I would say they have a problem.
Natural gas, obviously a huge part of our fertilizer story. So that's got to influence things as we look here in the U.S., just for supply, as you mentioned, but also those prices as we make some of those acreage decisions for next year.
Yeah, fertilizer prices really shot up at the end of the month. I talked to several clients who have relationships that sell fertilizer. And the one thing I did, a little nugget I took away from the Farm Progress show, I met with a man who owns a fertilizer company down in Iowa. He said, not only should you be scared to get it priced, you should get it in your possession. And he was very serious about it. He's professional. He's a very big player in the fertilizer business. He said, if you can get it priced, get it in your possession. So you could talk about planting corn and wheat next year and beets, but you're going to need that fertilizer. Soybeans will let you off a little easy with not as much, or a different mix of nutrients there need to grow them. But it is impossible, as you know, to grow corn without fertilizer, and we will need lots of it. And it sounds like it's going to be quite pricey, Don.
I'm curious, you mentioned Farm Progress down in Boone, Iowa. What was the crop situation did you see in that part of the world? What kind of attitude did you hear from growers?
Growers were optimistic. Some were terribly disappointed with yields. I'll tell you this, driving back and forth along the highway, and it gets a little hilly over there by Boone, that crop is further along than one would think, and harvest is going to come at us fast, and we'll see what cash levels do out there in that area. Of course, markets have matured. A lot more people have built bins. It's not like the old days where all the grain flows to town. The end users competing with the grain elevators very much more so this year than any year I can remember in my history are people fighting to get possession of the grain that you're growing.
Well, you mentioned farm shows. Big Iron's going to be right around the corner. You're going to be part of one of our market panels that we have at the Big Iron Farm Show. It's always a great chance to connect with your customers, the farmers from across this footprint.
Well, Don, I met you at Big Iron many years ago. I think I had color in my hair, and it's a wonderful opportunity to network. And it's like you say, the world's run by people who show up. So show up to Big Iron, come say hi, and anything we can do to help you make 23, 24, and 25 easier and get through these volatile times, it would be our pleasure to help you manage some of that risk.
Tommy's you're part of the panel Tuesday, 1:30 in our Red River Farm Network building. As always, Tommy, appreciate the chance to connect. We'll see you at Big Iron.
Thank you, Don.
You bet. Thanks for joining us for our monthly look at the markets with Tommy Grisafi from Advanced Trading based in Mayville, North Dakota. That's the bullpen. Until next time, I'm Don Wick.